just had to pop back on screen. I love that intro. Hey, everybody, this is Miss B, Positively Miss B on Storm Talk 365 Radio with our bi-monthly episode of Issues of Men with Chris Allen. I'm telling you what, I just had to pop in so y'all can see me smiling. Hey, Chris.
How you doing this evening, Miss B? How's everybody doing out there?
Excited to see what you got to say. Listen, if y'all not doing all right, you're about to be all right, because Chris Allen has come up with a topic that is an extension of an interview that he's done with someone else on their platform. But as with all topics, prepare to be intrigued. Again, I'm Ms. B, the CEO of Storm Talk 365 Radio, faith-based podcast network, where we help you to talk to your storms in your life. I'm also the CEO of Storm Radio 24/7, where we talk about arts, business, entertainment, and more. But tonight we're going to talk about them there issues. Chris, issues. You know, Chris's schedule, and I'm excited to say, has increased, and he is now at the present time only coming on twice a month. So Chris, in case this is the first time, tell them a little bit about you and what they hope to get from Issues of Men.
All right. So a little bit about me really quick. I am a publisher, author. I'm a mentor, model, actor. And I think what I want to share with you this evening is the fact that always keep your dreams alive and pursue your dreams. No distractions. Take care of that, and it'll take care of you. God has a lot of plans for you, and to stay focused and move forward with that. I created the Issues of Men platform for the simple and sole purpose that men, generally, we have a lot of things that we experience, and we think we handle it, we got it, and we don't admit or talk about these specific subjects and things that we're actually going through, and they're actually things that need to be addressed and talked about. So, with that being said, with the Issues of Men this evening, we are going to talk about what is the non-sexual value or the value of a woman beyond sex, from a man's point of view. I'm just going to say from my point of view at this point in time in my life experience. And based on my last 2 weeks, if you go to untappradio.com, Valerie McAllister's website, genwords.com, not genwords.com, that's YouTube. She has a YouTube channel, Gen Words. You can actually go there to check out the interviews. And again, it's just talking about this whole concept with the interview with Valerie McAllister on Sistah Talk. Where she's had sent us a video in regards to, there's a bishop, his name is R.C. Blake, and his topic was based on the non-sexual value of a woman. So with that being said, once I saw the video, I mean, there was a lot of things that I did agree with. There were some things I didn't quite 100% agree with, and some things I didn't agree with at all. But again, we have our experiences and we have our thoughts, and to each his own. I'm not mad at anybody for anything or what they said or what they didn't say. It's from their experience, so I respect that. And so what I want to share with you this evening is this, some of the things I really didn't get a chance to expound on or say in regards to a woman's value, period. Out of the aspect of the place of just having sex. So with that being said, Miss B, you are a woman, right? Before I even get into what I'm going to get into, what value do you bring to the table? What value, or even not even that capacity, but what value do women have in today's society and relationships, things of that nature?
Wow. Well, I'm glad you kind of reworded it, because you asked me personally, but then you're saying in general. I'm not even going to have to approach it as a woman of faith. I'm just going to approach it as a And believe it or not, I'm going to say a Black female, because right now we're going through a lot of identity crisis. And there's some racial disparities and differences on how they interact with each other as opposed to how we interact with each other. So let me just say this as a Black female in this generation, A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z, I don't care what you call it. But I believe personally, as a Black female in 20, what years is 21, not what we should, what we have the potential to bring to the table is limitless. But I will say, one, to show, I'm going to have to say the man, whatever you choose is up to you, but I'm going to deal with a heterosexual relationship right now. The first thing a female should bring to a table with her mate is respect, not only for the individual, but for the relationship. Two, not expect 50-50 or each of you to complete each other. You come in whole and you enhance each other. You complement, not complete. So you start with respect, complimenting each other. Then the third, which is more important than anything, is accept responsibility for yourself first. And then when you come in, anything that's offered by your mate is a caveat. So go in with the expectation, whatever I did for myself before I got into this relationship, I'm not going to stop doing it unless it's totally agreed upon. I'm not going to be, what you're going to say, a leech. In other words, just because I have a relationship doesn't mean I'm not going to stop taking care of myself. So the third thing is, please understand this. Finances should be discussed, but if at all possible, they should become a joint venture. Not yours is yours, mine is mine, it's ours, and we move forward in a journey together where one grow, the other one go, and you both grow together. So I believe those are the three things in 2021 that a Black female should really start thinking about before they even say I do or okay.
And then in today's society, Ms. B, and those who are viewing the podcast this evening, the value of a woman, in my opinion, based on what I've seen over the last 50 years, is society, and this has been going on for a long time, but I just see an incredible amount of escalation of dehumanizing our women, especially women of melanin, women of color. Not being worthy of good treatment. I get it. They're trying to take it back to when, you're just here to have babies and take orders, just somebody to interact with, have sex with. That sounds more to me like a slave than a partner. You know what I mean? And I think a prime example of what's happening to our women right now is that, we're the same system that has brought about these excuses used to devalue women or, hurt or melanated people is the same system that is used to the system of racism and things of that nature is the same system that is used to devalue women as a whole. And just in my opinion, and what I've seen, people mimic and do what they're allowed to do, Miss B.
You know what? I know you got a point, but let me just high five you on that. And I am proud of who I am. I am proud of who I am. And I have no problem with saying I'm 65 years old. Have no problems with saying it because been there, done that, don't want to do it again. And a lot of other things I'm doing I shouldn't. But let me just say about that mimicking each other. We are in a generational battle for us as Blacks as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lack of respect for us globally as females and males anyway. But I want to address the lack of respect within our race, for our race, among females, since we're talking about that. So many females are trying to do the life of integrity, but you have the majority of the people, regardless of the race, watching those who are not. So when you say mimicking, the lack of disrespect to females comes from the perception that we don't respect ourselves. Why should we demand more from others than we are giving ourselves? So when you talk about mimicking, a lot of people are making fun of females and disrespecting us, both within and outside of the race, because of the examples that they are setting generationally, one after another. It gets worse all the time. If you look back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, even though we had a lot of horrendous things going on, there was a self-respect among women. The clothes were long. They were not revealing. When they went out in public, they dressed in heels, even though they were broke. And I'm just saying, but now when you go out, I'm just going to say things are different and that it's acceptable. So what I'm saying is, stop expecting more from others than you're able or willing to give yourself as a Black female. The first thing you want to do is say, no, they didn't disrespect me. Okay, but how many curse words did you use? How revealing are your clothes? What type of personality do you have? Are you overly aggressive and disrespectful, but yet you want everybody to come to you correct? But do you even know what correctness is? And for those who are trying to act correct, you say, ain't nobody got time for all of that. Ain't nobody gonna punk me out. Wait a minute. So, Chris, thank you so much for bringing this topic. I'm here to tell you it's a high five time, but when you say mimic, people are mimicking what they see within our race, by our race, toward our race. That's all I got to say right now.
It's a very big cycle. It's like this pile-on effect. Everybody wants to be accepted somehow, some way. Even a young man seeing that something is wrong, they know what's in their heart. They know that it's wrong. They know in their mind, they know emotionally, they know spiritually that what they're doing is wrong. But they, a lot of them feel as though, if I don't do, I'm not going to be liked or accepted. I'm not going to be cool. I'm not going to be whatever that may be. But again, there's consequence that comes from accepting terrible things that are being done to our women. And it just took me kind of back to a time when I was in high school. Well, actually, it never really stops from grade school to high school to college, and it goes on even today in the workplace, where there's teasing, there's bullying, abusing persons and whatever else that's going on right now. It's happening, and it's happening to both men and women. But I think that in order for people to start getting back to where they need to be, again,
good luck with that.
Yeah, it's so far gone. One of my favorite lines in my book, Open Wounds, it's a short line, but it was like, I'm so far from the light, all I can see is twilight. And it's getting further and further away. But this is the time for us as a whole, especially our community as a whole, we need to reel it on in and come on back. And I think, it's in order to get that value back as far as our women are concerned, is, we're talking about dehumanization. We have to get that humanized. We have to get that human aspect back. That's through, whether that's, as individuals, first and foremost, you talk about self-love. If you don't love yourself, it'd be very hard for you to love somebody completely or fully or the way that you should. And I'm just thinking that just as a human being, a family member, getting back to, that person is a mother, a grandmother, a daughter, an aunt, a cousin, or somebody out here. And you wouldn't want your family members or anybody to be treated like that. I know I have a very short tolerance for things like that. Like, I just never allowed it to happen. But I felt like the same admiration that I had for them wasn't reciprocated. So sometimes I did take a step back. Like, I'm not going to interfere in this anymore. It's not my business anymore. It's my problem. That's something that you have to take care of now. You have to develop ways to protect yourself, develop ways to defend yourself, or carry yourself in such a manner that, and not associate yourself, get yourself involved with somebody who is going to be rude or disrespectful or hurtful to you. I did have to learn that lesson. So, what is your thought on the humanization aspect? Do you think that would help to some degree?
I was going to ask you that, but I'll just take a stab at it. I was going to ask you, what do you think we can do as a human race to get back? We never really were, but to get better. So let me just say what I have on my heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's a spiritual battle. And until you understand that it's not just about you, that it's a real spiritual battle against humans, black, white, young, old, purple, green, it doesn't matter. Satan wants us to steal. He wants to steal, kill, and destroy. He wants us to self-destruct. And what better way to self-destruct than to turn us on each other, forget about morals, have no use for anything spiritual, and whatever is out there spiritual, you got to fight to find the truth, because he's infiltrated that to the point where you don't know what to believe. And what you believe still may not be true. So it starts with you. Each individual have to decide enough's enough. I can be a better person. I want to find out there's more out there to life than this, and have a domino effect. But again, it's your personal responsibility. Satan is not going to leave us alone. It's not going to be that quick as just saying, oh, we need to come together. We need another Black Wall Street. We need to do this. We need to pool all our money together. Yeah, right, whatever. That ain't going to work. Satan ain't going to let nobody come together, but so much. My point is, whether you're a male or female, we as Blacks, and we're talking about Blacks right now, we have to start one person at a time to stop the irresponsible mimicking of who people think we are and how they think we should be treated. Absolutely. Based on who we think we are and how we're treating ourselves. So the dehumanizing starts with you. Are you dehumanizing yourself? What are you teaching your children? What are you allowing yourself to be exposed to? It's not about society to fix things. You have to decide what you want for you, your relatives, and your life, and what type of leader are you becoming, because we're all leaders. Everybody's watching everybody to see what everybody else is doing. So have a domino effect. Stop the dehumanizing in your own house. How are you talking to your husband or your wife? What are you saying to your children? Are you kicking your dog? Are you cussing Walmart employees out? Did you jump in line in the gas station? Dehumanizing has a lot to do with your personality and your choice of character. So it starts with you.
Absolutely. And again, that is a start. That's planting that seed. I think the second aspect of that too, Miss B, is when we see something that's out of character or somebody doing something that they should not be doing, we need to say something. Somebody needs to be checked to let them know that, look, that's not good. That's not cool. And, even a lot of times, some things that I see, I may pull somebody to the side and was like, man, that's not good. X, Y, and that's it because of X, Y, and Z, but not be so aggressive with them that they are, now turning their attention to you in a negative way. Because, that'll get even worse. The person didn't learn anything from it. But just to get their mindset or get them away from what they were attempting or what they were doing, sometimes that does help. But I also know, in a good book tells us, sometimes That's not our place to be involved. That's their journey and their lesson to do something. But from what I've seen over these years, people don't learn very quickly. And the cycle continues on. It gets deeper and more vast and more vast. And I also, I said something about self-love, right? A little bit earlier. And we're talking about, we discussed before in other episodes, just about the longest relationship that you're going to have is with yourself. And who can teach you better than I guess what I'm trying to say is that who can teach you better about yourself than yourself, if that makes sense. And for me, I feel like a woman, one of her values is, she can be an excellent or great teacher. If she's not a great communicator, she can become a great communicator. I'm just going to say this in reference to, she can tell you about how she's feeling, so about her pain, her happiness, her dreams, her goals, her aspirations, her likes and dislikes. And who better to learn that from than her? Like, how can you dehumanize somebody or treat somebody in a certain way and you know nothing about that person or view them in a certain capacity, if that makes sense? So I'm just thinking that if people really took that time to stop allowing first impressions, because she's wearing a short skirt, that she deserves to be raped, or she deserves to be kidnapped, or she deserves to be beat up, or she's a garden tool and things of that nature. Like, that has to go. You don't know anything about that person. It may just be a fashion the person likes. And some people physically, you can't hide what God gave you through your parents. You can't hide it. So I think that even if somebody may be sexy to you or beautiful or handsome or whatever that may be, until you have an opportunity to get a chance to know and see who that person is, irregardless of what you feel about that person, keep that to yourself. Don't carry out acts on somebody that is unwanted. And I think that's also happening a lot, is that, people are just, they're in their heads and it's taking it way too far. They already at triple Z. You know what I mean? So I just think that's an element that people really need to slow down and sit down and before they allow their mind and their race, or how they feel inside about somebody or whatever that is, and take action prior to really getting to know who that individual is.
May I say something?
You sure can.
Not that this is anything new, but one of the things that we talk about when it comes to race relations is it has to do with ignorance and a learned pattern of behavior. You don't know anything except what you assume, what you've been taught, and you never took the time to learn. A lot of men who disrespect women are hurt men, have been exposed to negative relationships with their mother figure or female figure, or have been hurt later in life. Those patterns of behavior spill over into how they assume every other woman should be treated. I'm not saying it should be tolerated, but it should be understood. And for the woman who comes across a man who has issues with respecting you, you see it right away.
Mm-hmm.
You can't change them. You're putting yourself in danger and you're lowering your self-respect for allowing yourself to be in a relationship and mistreated with someone who has issues. I'm not saying, some things, but for deliberately disrespecting you, verbally abusing you, or physically abusing you, you're putting your life and your self-respect on the line. So people have issues. Don't be afraid to accept the fact that they have issues. Don't let them become yours, and then you have theirs and yours. So those are some hurt people. I'm not making excuses for them, but in reality, they've come from some stuff to make them think. That's why you have so many people who hate bald-headed yellow women, because for some reason they had nightmare about a bald-headed yellow clown, and they don't like nobody. But I'm just saying, there's a why behind everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's sad that some people accept the whys as their norm.
And I know this is just going back to the aspect of learning more about the woman and her teaching aspect for a man. It doesn't matter if you have children or not, because you can be in a relationship with somebody or befriending somebody and things of that nature, and not, it could be platonic friends and vice versa. There's aspects of her that would make you have more admiration for her, for things that she goes to. So I'm just going to say, like, skill sets that she learned, as far as, we know how to brush and do our hair and things of that nature. For like our nieces, our non-biological children and things of that nature, as far as the teaching aspect, which is great, it's a valuable thing. She could teach us how to do your hair, your daughter's hair, learning their cycles and things of that nature. You could be more helpful in that capacity, as knowing when and how to do something, or if she's, you know, just the things like clothes size. You can go to the store and get her her pads or whatever that may be. Be an asset rather than be a problem. If you don't know how to cook, she probably knows every utensil. Like most women, probably know every utensil, cooking pot, pan, glass in that kitchen. She could probably teach you how to set the table. Things of that. Now, I'm just saying that there's so much. She can teach you how to be a nurturer, as opposed to continuing this cycle of being a brute 24 hours a day, this caveman mentality. You know what I mean? She could teach us how to take care of her hand and feet. Something
we talked about that.
Yeah, it's something that's very important that we deem that's not important. We shrug it off and push it away, but you're gonna find out sooner or later about that. And I look at the value of a woman, period, out of everything. If that person really cares about you, they're gonna hang in there and stick in with you. Just like, like most mothers will probably do for their children, no matter what's going on, they there for you. It doesn't give you the permission or right to treat them any kind of way or treat them bad because they're doing that. There's a difference between expressing yourself and what is that? I done lost track of my thought with that word I'm trying to use, but y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. And having her as a mate, whether that's a life mate, temporary mate, or whatever, there's so much you can learn. Like, who is a better partner or mate or a management? I know we both have some management skills and things like that as far as, but when it comes to a woman, you're talking about value, from high percentage, you're talking about the children. You may be the breadwinner. She's dealing with that stuff all the time at home, dealing with personalities, dealing with the school aspect, different things, while you take care of this other part. But when there's that downtime and you spend the time with them, who better to teach you about your child? Their personalities are different. They're, managing a household, managing the bills. Even if she's helping you in your business, she got you, son. Teaching you patience. She's showing you loyalty. She's the encourager. She's the cheerleader. I mean, it's so many things that I could probably go on and on about that. But in your opinion, Miss B, is there anything that I missed that, just in that segment of her being the encourager, the cheerleader, the being able to juggle and manage so much, so we may not be able to do that. We can't, like, it might be overwhelming and too much for us, but she is that person to be able to calm us down, keep us even keel, and be able to show us those things too. And I think that's a big asset that a woman has over everything.
Let me tell you something. I'm not going to say it's cute. Everybody has different tolerance of things, but I can always tell when something is wrong. If something is wrong with one of my fur babies, I can tell how he's coming upstairs. He'll come flying upstairs with one of them in his arms. Honey, something's wrong with so-and-so. He stuck something in his, just come. In other words, everything's to me. Honey, I can't get in touch with the bank. Honey, this can't. And it's like, okay, calm down. I got this, But on the other hand, we can do a lot. It's that mothering, nurturing in us. I'm not saying that the man is not strong, but it's a yin and a yang. So if you can understand your yin and your yang, your pro and your con, you're supposed to remember I said complete each other. We complement each other. So he can fry chicken better than I can, but I can make better potato salad. So we decide who's gonna do what. All I'm saying is, Chris, this is absolutely an amazing topic, because I know you all were talking about the value of a woman other than sex. And I think you've covered a lot of it. But one of the things I go back to, a lot of males or men and women don't realize the value. Mm-hmm. Because if the female does not project that value, then the man does not know how to appreciate it. So there's a lot of dynamics going on, because, again, how people are raised and what they're exposed to is getting worse and worse. And the expectations are less and less involving morals and loyalty. But we as women, we were created to be, they said the backbone, the helpmate. What one can do, the other one can. And then they both teach each other. I had someone teach me, I'm a carpenter now because somebody told me how to handle a hammer with respect. You know what I'm saying? Put some spect on it. And some other people, teach the men how to handle a spatula. Put some spec on it. You ain't turning it right. You got to do this. So again, this is an excellent topic. Before we move on, let me do a short break. Okay, Chris?
Oh, absolutely. Commercial.
Hey everybody, this is Ms. B, Positively Ms. B, right here with Chris Allen on the bi-monthly Issues of Men. We are going every other Wednesday for a while because of his schedule. What you just saw was a short clip, a commercial for me. That's right. Positively Ms. B, the spiritual realist, comes on every Friday morning, 9 a.m. East Coast time on the Preach the Word Network. I'm also on DirecTV, Roku, Fire Stick, Amazon, and all the other platforms available, as well as local channels down there in Atlanta, Georgia. I am the spiritual realist, and what I do is I simply talk about scriptures and say, if it's true, how's it working for you? For the next couple of weeks, I'm talking about thoughts. What are your thoughts telling you when it comes to relationships? What are your thoughts telling you on how to treat your mom, your dad, your relatives? Are you allowing your thoughts to dictate your behavior and have emotional responses? And then you expect the spirit man to come in and pick up the pieces. So join me every Friday morning, 9 a.m. East Coast time on Preach the Word Network, or again on your local TV channels in Atlanta, or on Roku, DirecTV, Fire, many others. So, Chris, we're talking about the value of a woman other than sex. And I think you covered a lot of territory. And again, a lot of it has to do with the impressions that women have about themselves, as well as men, and the exposure they've had to negative relationships. So a lot has to do with how we are respected or valued. So what's your next point?
One of the things that I did want to bring up and talk about is as men and women, we're so quickly and so easy to dismiss our accountability when it comes to when you are, and again, this is showing where your mindset is and how you value yourself and how you value other people. And we're just talking about even friendships. We're talking about getting to know, dating somebody, or being in a permanent relationship. When you get a chance to be around somebody, some things are happening with that person. If we can get back, and this is that human element that I'm talking about, if we can get back to push our own personal agenda to the side for a minute and just say, you beat somebody who's having some issues and some problems, but we're quick to always bash them or put them down or discard them or use them for what you want. And then after that happens and you go ahead and push them to the side or whatever that may be. And again, that's an element of dehumanization of somebody that you could have actually helped her. It's not your responsibility, but in that aspect of you're going to be in that person's space at time, do something good for the person. You know what I mean? And what I mean is don't diminish or hurt him or her any further than where they are if you can help it. Stay in the friend zone with somebody. Doesn't always have to be, you people in a rush, they go and have sex with somebody, then call them garden tools and this and that and the third. Stay in the friend zone and be platonic. Give her some good advice. Give him some good advice, some unbiased advice. Maybe even some spiritual advice of something that's going to help to bring them out of the place that they're in. But the back and forth about who you think they are and, whatever else craziness that you can call them or bring them down further and spreading rumors and gossip to the community and things of that nature. And it's not that time. Again, that's an element of dehumanization and bringing down somebody's value. I know specifically today we're talking about a woman, but again, that has to stop because everything, you're, in my opinion, you're basically telling on yourself when you go to degrade somebody else.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I said, you're so busy trying to bring somebody else down. You know how stupid that makes you look? People don't realize, I'm going to say this, that, and the other, but it says more about your character than the behavior of them because you had to be the one to have sex with them. So if they were so bad, then that didn't say much about your personality anyway because you chose a garden tool. You know what I'm saying? So come on now. Y'all need to just understand the very thing that you think you're doing to hurt somebody else is really making you look stupid. The dog that would carry a bone.
They said, what makes you laugh, make you cry.
Man, let me tell y'all something. Y'all men out here hollering about, man, she this, man, she that. Well, you slept with her. Man, I can't believe you knew she was like that before. You still slept with her, though. Now you want to talk about her? You ain't talk about her and you was happy and humping. I'm just saying.
It's true. And, Ms. B, I know everybody wants to feel redeemed or they want to feel redeemed for something. They want to feel good about themselves in some aspect. And it just goes back to what I was saying. Like sometimes, allow that person to feel good about themselves. Allow that person to have that time where they're building and growing as opposed to staying stuck in that mud. And you never know the last straw that you may break. Or you may step on the wrong nerve or touch the wrong nerve. And that person may decide to commit suicide or do whatever that may be when you could have been some type of help or aspect for that person. I'm just saying, and what Miss B and I were just talking about, when you expose or you continue to expose and talk about somebody and degrade somebody, like I saw a Facebook post today before doing the show, and this lady was talking about her ex. Yes, granted, he did her wrong. But she had these other two ladies. She threw all his stuff out of the house. Okay, that's fine. Didn't want him to come back in and be a part of the house anymore. Okay, that's fine. So this person's new friend or girlfriend and another one of her girlfriends comes to pick up this guy's clothes out of the yard, but she is berating them like she's giving them the business. And although she's saying that she's good and I'm glad he's gone and it's not the third, but how you were presenting yourself, cursing them out, and every insult you can imagine was being said, that told me a lot about you. I know that you may be upset, you may be angry, But a lot of those things that you were saying were you hit below the belt and you felt some kind of way, but they're just saying that all the you calling them names, you calling them different things, it showed a lot of you. And so I feel like even in that capacity of putting his clothes out, somebody coming to get it, I'm just saying to respect him or respect her is respecting yourself.
Say that again.
To respect her or respect him is respecting yourself.
Boom, baby.
Because people already know who that person is and their interaction with them. You don't need to add no fire, no gasoline, no propane. You don't need to put no lava, nothing on it. People already know. It's just that you just happen to get caught up in the person's deceit or who they are, their character. Hurt people hurt people. And again, by doing what we was just talking about, it only exposes the flaws in mindset in you. And I think we have to get away from that system. How you say, KIM, keep it moving. Yeah, I'm hurt. You're going to hurt for a little bit or some time, but you're going to be fine. Because all that negative aspect that you putting out to devalue somebody else, to humanize somebody else, that energy is coming back some way, somehow. Whether that's stored up in the other people that you were calling names, that's not going to go away anytime soon or easy. Words hurt. Words hurt like bullets. Trust. It takes a thick-skinned person not to be moved or not to be touched by something, but it is what it is. And I'm thinking too, Miss B, the communication aspect between our men and women has to get better. When you respect somebody, you have admiration for somebody, you tend to listen and communicate a little bit different, right? Your patience level is different. I'm starting to see this overall in our communities as I'm going out and interacting and doing different things. A lot more people are not, even from our culture to our own culture, looking like, oh, that man's looking at me. Why are you looking at me? What's wrong with you? You know, and oh, that's beef. You know, you looking at me, I'm gonna punch you in the face. I'm seeing more of we're happy to see each other now. We're being more cordial. We're being more we're speaking more, interacting and talking a little bit more. So I'm just saying that irregardless of the circumstance, if you respect someone, if you care about your community, it comes across you're a better listener and a better communicator. And I think as a whole, to give that value back to ourselves, our men and our women, we absolutely need to again get back that community aspect, get back a lot of things that we lost, get back our older teachings of what's right and what's wrong. We're not going to be perfect, you know. It's impossible, but we can be as perfect as we can, you know, as far as what we need to do and how we teach, how we mentor, and how we talk and treat one another. And I'm just saying, you know, have self-love and knowledge of self. And again, I just feel that that's a very important element that has been lost in us becoming so comfortable in the way the society has been run. Like we don't have any way, you know, we don't have any way to counteract that. We don't have any way to fight that. And it's been happening so long, whether you have been fighting it, that eventually you give in. But most people do give in. You get tired. You get tired. And you get tired of being abused by people and you're trying to do the right thing. You're tired of being taken advantage of and vice versa. Like I said, I get it. But again, you know, it's that time that we really start pulling together and supporting each other and start treating ourselves with some love and respect. And those who can't, I don't, I can't deal with you. I won't deal with you. And that's I think there's a consequence and a penalty that we have to assert or put in at some point in time to get people to snap out of whatever that energy or rhythm that they're in. And sometimes there was a gentleman that asked me something the other night. We were having a conversation, and he asked me what was, one of my books that I had learned a lot of lessons from. And I told him, I told him the book of life. You can read any book, you can take anything, you can apply it. And again, it's words being put together. But life itself and getting off that hamster wheel of the constant motion, the emotion, the negative aspect, how I felt, the devaluing of myself, self-esteem, and things of that nature. Once I got off that hamster wheel, a lot changed for me. But again, your life experience, if you don't want to feel that way no more, you don't have to. If you feel that you need to improve yourself in other areas to be able to have that come out of you, that's what you need to do. I really feel that's what you need to do. I just say that it's also time to get a spiritual connection back. And I feel like nature is God, God is nature. He's in all of us. If you don't have that connection, I don't know. To me, that's the most awful feeling, and how you feel like some people feel about themselves because they don't have that connection. It's turmoil and chaos. And so, whatever's going on in here, you're going to reflect on the outside. And we have to get that aspect back so that we'll be able to start looking at our culture and our people, and looking at the world in a different light, from a different lens, from our perspective. And, Miss B, I really feel like if I know people talk about women and, about guys not having our back and not being supportive of each other and whatever that may be. But if a woman, and this is just giving her value back, if you pour into the right woman, somebody who I would just say that's equally yoked, who's, has similar paths, similar idealisms, but they're also individuals at the same time, pouring into her, pouring value into her and supporting her, she's going to have your back like no other. And I think a lot of our men and women are missing that. They're just, that's something that they desire. That's something that they want, but you're not going to get it in the behaviors and behavior patterns that you are exhibiting, carrying out at this point in time. This is not going to happen. So, she feels safe, if she feels secure. I would say the sky's the limit. Do you have anything to say about that? How do you feel about that?
How I feel about that?
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you something. When you pour into another individual, period, man, it's nothing like feeling wanted and needed and loved and appreciated and feel like you got some value, I mean, that's what love is about, showing them they have value. When Jehovah God our Father created us, he showed us we had value by sending his son, Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, down here to live among us for 30-some years. Then he had the nerve to let it go head on and be sacrificed to set us free from spiritual bondage. He didn't just talk it. He showed it. You got to show people you love them.
Show me.
What are you willing to lay down and saying, give it up for them? Okay, we talk about a whole lot of stuff on your previous episodes. Are you willing to give up that best female friend that you had since high school if it make the love of your life feel uncomfortable? Who's more important, your female friend from high school or your wife? Are you willing to give up those best buds that y'all used to go around clubbing, and you married and you still think you're supposed to go out and club and come home 2 and 3 o'clock every weekend? What are you willing to sacrifice, lay down for that relationship? When you say, I'm going to give this up for you, guess what? That person may say, well, I tell you what, you willing to give it up for me? Let's compromise. How about every other weekend to be home by 12? If you're willing to give her friendship up, how about, we go out together as a foursome instead of just you and her? Let's make it, all inclusive. If you show some sacrifice, then they'll compromise because they feel like, you're willing to do that for me? You really willing to do that for me? So that's what I got to say about that. You sow into people, they'll appreciate it and they'll sow back into you. Again, you're there not to complete, but to complement each other and to make a commitment that we're in this together. And so many people don't understand that it's not about you or them, it's about y'all together.
And so I really feel like our final word and our encouragement, words of encouragement, we put that out there already. But I definitely want to shout out a couple of things really quick. I want to shout out my friend, also business partner, Kevin Jackson. He's doing an amazing job on a project that he has coming out. He's having a listening party this weekend, Friday, at his home. And, he's an amazing gentleman, amazing producer, songwriter. So I'm just giving him props and, definitely appreciate him, being able to team up with me and help me with the projects and things that I have going on as well. I want to give a shout out to Leslie White. Her website is not up right now, but you can definitely hit her on Messenger. She has 2 books. She has Lesson Learned and Choices, and she also has a product that she has that would definitely help you in the bathroom as far as your smells and everything is concerned. A lot of people have issues like when they go out in public, they're like, okay, oh my God, I don't want to use the bathroom there. Well, she got something for that to help you in that aspect of the situation. I also want to give a shout out to my man, Everett Gillum L. So I have his book here. It is on Amazon.com. The book is called Think and Grow Godly Rich Anthology. Miss B and I are contributors to this book. It's a very amazing book. And this is for both men and women. And again, this is an amazing book. Go check it out. Go get it. I'm also going to shout out my books here. This is a reader's choice. This is the same book, but you have your choice of cover. And I also have the youth edition, which has 2 different covers. I did not have any more of those available at this point in time. So this is to see. You can go to www.authorchrisallen.com to purchase those books. Also, the youth edition. Also, my website also talks about my public notary service, my publishing company. So you can go check out all those things, my blog. And I did have one more thing that's what I want to say in regards to that. I do have Issues of Men t-shirts available, things of that nature. So definitely go and support. If you do like the Issues of Men or would like to support the platform, definitely go and check out my Issues of Men t-shirts on the page. And I'm also looking to get some rhinestone Issues of Men t-shirts and things of that nature. So I'm really trying to move in a great direction. People who like bling, I got that for you too. I do want to also shout out Valerie McAllister and Maisha Gillum L. They're working on a project right now that's coming out. They're working on a short film about Maisha's life. I believe it's called Miracles. She does have a book that's also on Amazon.com. Valerie McAllister, I was also a part of an anthology with her as well, as far as it was called the Corona Chronicles. Definitely go to genwords.com and also go on Amazon to also purchase that book. Again, it is an amazing book just dealing with persons of color, people that she knows and love who contributed to the book in regards to their first experience moving through the pandemic. And she also has Carol's Revenge and the book club. So again, please go check her out. She does have full features episodes of the book club. Very amazing piece. This weekend I did finish up my updates for my children's book, Christopher's First Pair of Glasses. And this is going to be a series that's going to be addressing children between the ages of maybe 5 and maybe 12 years old. They're going to be addressing issues and traumas that they may be going through, but just try to bring that stigmatism down, and so that they'll be able to have a better experience and to go about how they're moving in life as far as these things are concerned. So with that being said, I'm trying to think, is there anything else that I'm missing at this point in time that I wanted to say? I don't. Ms. B, do you have any, is there anything that you have coming up soon?
Yeah, I am in the process of working with Norfolk State University's Social Services Department, Dr. Dolores Dungy Anderson. We're going to be starting a monthly show on human trafficking. We're going to start that. It'll be an hour show every fourth Sunday, starting this Sunday at 1 p.m. in the afternoon on Storm Talk 365's Facebook page. I'll be putting more out about that in the next day or so. Also, Dr. Julius Garber will be coming soon. We'll be going once a month on, we're going to be talking about the Black Credit Report on Storm Radio 24/7, talking about history and not just involving his father and what has been going on. But I have a lot of things going on. Dr. Garwood, David Garwood, is planning a health summit. We're talking about alternative health care, especially now that we have the corona and different things. But I do have some projects that I too am working on. But again, follow us on Storm Talk 365's fan page and join me every Friday at 9 a.m. East Coast time on the Priestly Word Network for Miss B, Spiritual Realist, where I'll be talking about scriptures. If it's true, how's it working for you? Chris, I thank you so much for your time. I look forward to you in 2 more weeks with a different dynamic topic. And thank you for talking about our anthology, because I totally keep forgetting it, but that's right. And Maisha Gilliam L., that movie is going to be amazing. I'm looking for great things for her. She's also on Preach the Word Network. I believe hers is just Thursdays at 6 p.m. So that's all we have right now. Thank you so much. This is Ms. B, Positive and Ms. B with Chris Allen, Issues of Men. If you want to support him, please go to, what's the name of your $ Cash App thing?
It is $ Ascension Services. That's ASCENCION Services. So go and check that out. Support. And again, the only way that we'll be able to bring you better content and better viewership and things of that nature is to support. And again, we thank you for even viewing. We thank you for just tuning in. It's amazing. It's appreciative. So we just trying to get the message out there, bring you. And if you have a topic that you would like me to discuss, you would like Miss B and I to discuss, definitely hit me at the issuesofmen@gmail.com in the subject line. Just put the topic and just give me a blurb and contact information about what you would like me to talk about, and I'll go ahead and make that happen for you. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, same thing. Issuesofmen@gmail.com.
All right, everybody. Night. See you in 2 weeks. Have a blessed one, Chris.
All right, y'all take care. You have a good night. Love y'all.